and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, I hope you enjoyed that lovely Broad Odyssey as we returned. We returned here with our upper bracket semi-finals. We are working through the bracket itself to determine the top 2 players to make it into the Polish Championship. Who's it gonna be? As spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the purple Protoss player. I was at Polish Protoss. The Hungarian Protoss living in the land of Poland. It is Nihed, aka PvZ, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner we have the Polish Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg. It is Trifax. And if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we jump into our PvZ, and this is going to be a closer one. Coming into this, I'll be honest, I do lean towards PvZ in this matchup. I mean, I have a soft place in my heart for Trifax, don't get me wrong, but Trifax, he has been less active as of late. He's been devoting less time to StarCraft. As a result, I don't really know how to compare him to PvZ, to Nihed. We'll see though, we'll see if we can hold his own. For now, hatch, gas, pool, standard opener out of Trifax. Standard opener out of our Zerg. Meanwhile, gate expand out of Nihed. So far, so good. A little bit easier if I do this. I have like a purple. And it's a little bit bright. To have something less tense. It's okay. Let's go. So for now, we are setting up. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. I mean, again, the early game of PvZ is pretty standard. I should say pretty stale, pretty stagnant. We should just be expecting a droning up on 2 bases, getting a 3rd base up and running. Likewise, should be seeing Nihed going for a Stargate opener into Oracle into a 3rd as well. Island has been placed, and we're expecting a Stargate, but we'll see if he throws out anything too crazy, anything else is too wild. Stargate. Okay. Stargate opener out of our Protoss. So standard opener. With this, we should be seeing an Oracle. I say should. It is still viable to open up a Phoenix or open up Void Ray, so we could see a bit of deviation here to try to shut down Vision and try and deny scouting. That is definitely like a way you can approach this. So there is a choice to make here for Nihed. Does have to make a choice. So then still gotta be waddling in. Nihed trying to get a scatter. Is going to be that Oracle first out of our Protoss, not a Void Ray. So it does open Oracle. From here, should be expanding, taking a 3rd base. Double Adept will threaten the bases. We'll see if we can find any damage. Trifax should be able to keep up. In saying that, 1 tumor goes down. Not bad. Takes down a tumor. PvZ is moving out. Does try to move out, I should say. Nice round here on the Adepts. Gets one, gets both. Both Adepts go down. Nice pickoffs. That will mean the 3rd base is exposed, and the Oracle races back home. The Oracle is not able to move out across the map. Has to defend against the Zerglings. So nice pickoffs here from Trifax, catching up both Adepts and keeping the Oracle pinned back home. Nice damage out of our Zerg player. Behind this, Trifax is droning. We should be seeing a Spore in the bases. So far, just 2 Queens in both locations. There we go. Spore at the natural. The main base is a little bit more exposed, relying quite heavily here on his Queens. Meanwhile, standard follow-up out of Nihed, going for the Forge. Twilight Council plus on a Blink. I'll be honest, I don't know enough about Nihed to recognize if he's one to go for any kind of cheeses or all-ins or earlier timings. In my mind, at least for now, is more of a standard player, but we'll keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on him. As Nihed does move out. Is going to be the early Evo Chamber out of Trifax, so he's going for +1 melee into Ling Hydra. Still speaking of a couple of drones. But typically when you go rush into an Evo Chamber like this, your goal is to skip roaches. To skip roaches and to rush into tech and rush into lair tech. a little bit faster instead and commit into whether it's Hydras or even potentially Muta play, but should be off a plus on melee. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. There it is. Yeah, melee's on the way. So we do have melee out of Trifax. Oracles move out. Links are amassing. Hydrogen is going to be on the way. Oh, and Lings do catch at least one of the adepts. One adept does go down. Likewise, I say one adept does catch out even more. We do have confirmation, of course, it's going to be Ling Hydra as we had assumed. And Nihed just hasn't really been able to achieve too much damage here. Time and time again, the adepts are getting caught, the oracles are being forced back home. There's just been no pressure on Trifax, and Trifax has been happily droning up. I do think that there's a missed opportunity to drone up to 80. Like, I do think he can drone a little bit harder at this point, as is teching up. But so far, Trifax is looking quite comfortable here, outside of his low drone count. Like, the drone count is my one concern. Meanwhile, PSC building up towards Storm. Storm is about to finish. And Blink is finishing up. Storm is on the way. Nihed staying home at least until Storm kicks in. Then he can break out. And then we'll see how Trifax handles that. As it's building up his Hydras, they're of course scouted. Now, Trifax has to make a choice here. Either we drone up to 80 and take gases and work towards Hive Tech and work towards Lurkers, or we max out here and now with Ling Bane Hydra instead. And based on the movement, based on the lack of droning here, it looks like he wants to commit on Lair Tech, on Ling Bane Hydra. He's choosing not to work towards Lurkers. So Trifax is making that choice. Bane isn't morphing in. Nihed sees everything, by the way. He does see the Banelings. Stasis traps on the way. Storm does connect. Gonna Hydra speed is not done, so he can't even get out of storms. Trifax, he rotates. Banelings in position. They're getting caught out though. Again, no Baneling speed. Hydra towards the right hand side. Catching out Zell support, leading to the middle line, but there's a stasis. And there just isn't enough here from Trifax. Banelings, they're denied. Oof, Storm pops up. And Trifax, now he throws down the Infestation, but that's a late pit. And that's late tech out of Trifax. He's at least containing Nihed on 3 bases. At least trying to. Oh, the wall was open. Gonna be denied. Storms, they pop off. They shut down the Zerg. Oh my god, some of these Zerglings go down. Trifax is in trouble. If he can deny the 4th, then he can still pull this off, as long as he can just contain his opponent. And Lings, they rotate. Trifax's main army is still pushing in, as the space should be denied. Should be. There we go. Dust Force cancellation. Banelings, they roll into the mineral lines. No warp in. Banelings, they're being spent on Zealots though. Another best connections. 9 probes. It's okay damage, but ideally he was hoping for more. And oh, Nihed, he double expanded. Did double expand. Uh-oh. Trifax is in trouble. He's in danger. And he's losing his lead. And Trifax is losing his lead at this point. He needs more damage. Lings are cleaned up. 4th base is now up for Nihed. Doesn't have a saturated, not yet, but it soon will be. Bit of a panic storm. Speaking of, once again, some premature storms. So what, 2-3 storms left. Alright, so that was going to be the final storm, but more storms are coming in. Yeah, it takes down the expansion. Trifax trying to engage. Nihed runs into Zealots. Nihed does defend. A fleet beacon for Skytos. And Nihed is just taking up and looking to get further ahead. Trifax, he didn't really achieve enough damage. Yeah, they're forced to detonate. Premature. Nihed does defend. The hive is done, but what are we getting into here? Where are the lurkers? Do we have a lurker den? Oh, no. Yeah, so no, without a lurker den, defending against these ground pushes is so difficult. It's not impossible. You can try to blow up a surround. Like, if you can surround the army, then you can make this work, but oh god. Without a surround, these banelings, they should never connect. One does. One breaks through. Likewise, if Nihed is a little bit too trigger happy with his storms, then Trifax can break through as well. Depending on those storms. As another expansion is going to go down here, there's no saving this. No shot. As there's a recall back home. Nihed, he is very secure. And again, the lead that Trifax once had, he lost it a couple of minutes ago. He lost it a couple of minutes ago at this point. We did mention how basically when Nihed got his 4th base up and running, I mean, that was just a brutal moment for Trifax. He could not allow that to happen, but he couldn't stop it. And Nihed's about to max out, and Nihed has the superior army. Trifax is still stuck on Ling Main Hydra. So let's get a High Templar, okay? Did we not? Here we did. I was a little bit concerned that I had missed the predictions. A little bit concerned. As PvZ take down High Templar, not bad. One Templar goes down. That was still only one. Nihed still shuts us down. Oof, as Lings, they collapse on the army, not bad. Where are the storms? Where are the zealots? We need the storms. Without them, Trifax is breaking through. Mothership has arrived, carriers on the way. But where are the High Templar? There were so many. And now there's nothing. Yeah, there's 0 High Templar, 0 storms. Speaking of, High Templar gets shut down, and Trifax is doing it. He is doing it. Again, PvZ, Nihed, he was so reliant on storms, but he ran out of High Templar. 7 High Templar. And with that, Trifax has done it. He has done it. It was a risky play here to stay on Ling Bane Hydra, but he caught out the High Templar, and that's game. That's going to be game then and there. The base goes down. The mineral line goes down. And again, Trifax, he committed. He persevered. Surrounds the Zealots, forcing out those storms. Collapses into more High Templar as well. Leagues they flood in. They flood into the bases. Into the main. GG gets called, and Trifax, whew, he will take game number 1. Hey, GG, well played. Again, I do apologize, but I do believe that I did miss all the High Templar going down. I did see one of them, but in total 7 High Templar fell. I think a lot of them were at the 3rd base. They were further back. They got caught out, and without those High Templar, there was no defense. There was no defense. He needed those storms, and with that, Trifax did barely overwhelm. GG. GG, well played. With that, Trifax takes the lead, and now we're jumping to game number 2. Game number 2. As game 2 is going to be on Tokamak. Meanwhile, looks like we have an update here in the rest of the brackets. Angry takes down Jamek 2-1, and Angry's up against Pappy in the upper brackets, on the upper semifinals. We have the lower semis right here ready for you. And the winner of these 2 matches advance on to a qualifying match. Let's go. Alright, getting there. And again, of course, we're going to be following these players into said qualifying match as well. That's going to be the plan, to follow them in. As we jump into game number 2, and spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Tokamak, we have the Hungarian Protoss player, the Purple Protoss. Living in land of Poland, down in the series. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a series out of this and force the ace match. It is Nihed. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have the Polish Zerg player. We have the red Zerg leading the series 1-0. It is a Trifax. Here we go. And Trifax able to pull one out of it in that first game. Again, things were looking so dire for him. He was unable to deny the bases, unable to take better trades, unable to catch out the High Templar for the majority of that game. He was being outscaled. He was refusing to take up into Lurkers, refusing to take up into anything else. Just purely Ling Bane Hydra. But eventually, he got the damage he was hoping for. Eventually, he forced out enough storms. He caught the High Templar and snowballed into a win. GG. GG. Well played. Very impressive. Go. Here we go. As for now, still building up. I do have Trifax going for his own Hatchgas pool, force like the unnatural natural. Likewise, Nihed going for a gate expanded to Cybercore. Standard opener, standard setup, everything looking as it should so far. We saw that Nihed, he was playing very, very standard in the previous game. There wasn't anything too crazy out of our Protoss. We'll see if that trend continues. As once again, Stargate. Now, what I will say about Trifax is that he had a really solid early to mid game. If you remember, Trifax was doing an amazing job when it came to being active with his Lings, catching out of depths, keeping the Oracle back home, and allowing himself to join up. Now, he did decide to cut workers at 75 and to commit into Ling Bane Hydra, but he got there in a really, really nice way, and he was able to maintain map control. It was impressive. It was, again, a strong start out of Trifax. The attacks and the aggression itself was a little bit lackluster, but the way he got there was on point. Ooh, as you'll lose 2 drones already. 2 drones going down. A bit of a rougher start here for Trifax. Likewise, you have the Cybercore block. There's a cancel. But Nihed does attempt to delay even further. As Ling say, they too attempt to get around, but the Oracle's out, and the Lings are dealt with. So better defense here from Nihed. Does defend, does survive. Nice Oracle pokes in, doesn't really get much done. Gonna be zoned away. So far, 3 drones have gone down in total. Lings, they move out. Adept is once again gonna get surrounded. Oh, nice, way too soon. Oh yeah, nice surround. Takes down the Adept. May get the other as well. The Oracle's racing back home and does not save the Adept in time. Once again, nice goes here by Trifax. Once again, Evo Chamber out of our Zerg player, going into boss on melee. Going into what looks to be Ling Bane Hydra again. Looks to be the case. Trifax is working towards his lair, joining on up. Again, no major economic losses so far. And we're getting into the mid-game. Now, when it comes to the mid-game here, I will say that the 4-base setup is more defendable on Tokamak, so I do think that Nihed will have a stronger time defending on 4 bases. Getting a 5th base, that can be an issue, but securing yourself on 4 bases should be easier here for the Protoss. And if you remember, that was a big point of contention in the last game, was trying to contain and deny the 4th base. Contain on 3 bases and deny the 4th for as long as possible. That was, in a way, Trifax's win condition. I will say that it will be more difficult to achieve here. But we'll see. Moving out. Does collapse on the shield battery. Quest Stalkers, they're going to be able to clean up the Lings at least. And they clean up all the Zerglings. They do deflect. And we're getting into the mid-game. From here, Nihed should be getting a 4th. I will say his 4th base is late. It is a delayed 4th base. And should soon be expanding. Meanwhile, had Templar, they're banking up energy, getting ready for Storm. Storm is halfway done. Trifax, he's cutting workers early. We should be droning up the 4th. Yeah, but late drones out of Trifax. Trifax is actually building up so many Zerglings. He moves in, there's no 4th. I don't blame him, there should be a 4th by now. There is none. Going for a run by, remember Storm is ready. Things they don't really find much damage, and Trifax in a rough position here. Surrounds 1 Stalker at least. These are some brutal losses. And remember, all these Zerglings could have been drones. Like, Trifax's drone count is so incredibly low. He's only just now droning up. I mean, behind this, a big shout to Akko in the chat. God, my big guy, ACC0. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the subscription for the first time, which we're trying. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you. There is a delay on stream. There's a 2-minute delay, so I do apologize if you don't see the alerts immediately, but thank you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the subscription. Hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the casting. Hope you enjoy the StarCraft. Hope you enjoy. As for now, Trifax, he is securing himself on 4 bases, now getting a 5th. Now he's finally drawn up to 79, to 80. So now he has a decent economy, but can he deny the 4th? Oh boy. We spoke about it earlier. That was like a big goal here. That was a big strategic goal for Trifax in game 1. To deny and deny the 4th. He was able to do so, I want to say 3 times. Lings, they confirm. They trade okay against the Zealots. They get 3 up to 4. Sorry, 5 even. 5 Zealots go down.
Game paused.
So we do have a bit of a pause. Hopefully everything's okay. Whew. Did have some latency issues earlier from the side of Cossit, but here we're just taking a moment here. Uber Eats are at the door. When it comes to Nihed's setup, he is turtling up on 4 bases, throwing down a wall of cannons and shield batteries. This is the correct thing to do. If you recall, I mentioned earlier a couple of minutes ago how specifically on Tokamak you are a lot more defendable on 4 bases. Like the terrain is just a lot more secure, so it's easier to turtle up in such a way. So we're just turtling up and teching into Sky Toss. And again, it's easier to do this on Tokamak more so than on other expansions, or other maps I should say, just because of the map layout. Specifically here, typically on other maps, this area in between the 3rd and 4th base is open, but on Tokamak it's closed. So this area is already closed off naturally, so there are only 2 attack paths. So it's a lot easier to really centralize your defenses and to wall up and to wall off. On top of that, there are a lot of these high ground locations as well, which you can muster up a greater defense as your opponent tries to push up a ramp into your defensive setup as well. Getting a 5th base is more difficult, I will say that, whether it's the northern 5th base or the southern 5th base, but you can max out on 4 bases. So that's what Nihed should be looking to do. Just maintain a 4 base economy, max out, and then think about expanding and getting a 5th. From the side of Trifax, he has to do one of 2 things. He's drawn up to 80, which is solid, but does he commit to just purely, once again, Lair Tech, purely Lingbane Hydra, and try to kill Nihed, or does he tech up into Lurkers, into Corruptors, into Spellcasters, into the late game? So far it does look like he wants to commit. So far there are no extra gases, and so far there is no infestation pit. So no infestation pit, no hive, no lurkers. Oh.
Game resumed.
So Nihed is kind of forcing himself. Oh, speaking of, there it is. He had some time to think, and we're going for the pits. Okay, so he's taking up, which is, I think, is the correct call. Like, I do not think he can break through. He pokes in, takes a storm to the base, takes another storm and another. Oh, gets a High Templar. But again, pushing into all these High Templar, pushing into all these storms is not going to be successful. But he can bait out the storms. Ooh, Zell taking him to the 5th. 5th base takes a lot of hits, a lot of damage. Lings say, oh, do back in, storm pops up. Lings, they do collapse in. They're trying to at least get on top of the cannons, not the attack defense. 1 High Templar goes down. Trifax trying to force his way through. Does somewhat trade. Oh, ooh, gets 3. Takes down 3 High Templar, not bad. Yeah, Balins, they crash in. At the same time, Trifax pushing on the left hand side, but he does run into more storms. And this is very successful. Gets a 4th High Templar. 4 High Templar go down. That should not have happened. The baiting connections were brutal. And Trifax trades well. He trades well here. So rallying, of course. Running into a wall of side defense. So Bailings, they'll make short work of that. So they head for the mineral lines. And probes are falling. Getting 17, 18 probe kills. Yeah, Lings are rushing forward. And once again, more High Templar gets surrounded. And how many in total? 9. Jesus. 9 High Templar go down. And again, that should not have happened. Nihed, he was in a solid position, but the High Templar were exposed. And Trifax, he can just do that again. He can just do that again, and this time there's going to be less High Templar, less storms, less cannons, and less shield batteries. Like, Nihed, he has a lot of rebuilding to do. He has a lot to replace. Trifax, it's time to do it all again. Let's go. Do it again. Do it again. Rolling on forward. Yeah, Storm was not ready. Oh no, the probes! They try to pull away. Oof. Bailings are not the best connections. Yeah, not the best connections here from Trifax. He connected with the shield battery, not with the probes. So only 3 probe kills. That could have been a lot more. That could have been worse. As the mothership does arrive. Trifax, he's taking up in towards Broodlords and towards a Greater Spire. Lings, they collapse in once again. Going for the Archons, forcing out Storms. This was a little bit of a big investment. Yeah, it was a bigger investment here from Trifax. This is not as efficient. Gets one Archon. Let's go. Okay, you got two Archons. Lings, they do slip into the mineral line, at least somewhat. Those focus on 8 workers. The creeper is solid, already just reaching and encroaching upon the bases. Not even that many tumors, but he's been on top of it. He's maintained map control. And I love this rotation. Takes down some side defense. He should not commit into this though. He has to calm down. Takes down an Archon. He's going for it. He's pushing through the slow zone. Oh, good. Does push through. No High Templar left. Lings overwhelmed. GG. Good luck. And Trifax, he will take the series 2-0. He will advance on to a qualifying match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Trifax, he will claim the series. Again, a very intense series here by Trifax. He did not make it easy on himself. I will say that. He did not make it easy. Low drawing counts, low economies, low tech as well. Very committed on Lingbane Hydra, both in game 1 and in game 2. But both games, he barely got the fights he was looking for. He barely caught out the High Templar. Time and time again, he was able to get on top of the High Templar, able to force out storms, able to connect crash in Banelings and snipe High Templar, enough of them to eventually overwhelm, to kind of stem the tide and to stop the High Templar count from overwhelming or just wreaking havoc. And of course, breaking Nihed just before Skytoss. GG. GG, well played. With that, Trifax will advance on, and the question becomes, who's up next? The question becomes, does he have an opponent? Does he have someone waiting? He does. Oh my god. It's going to be another ZVP, exclamation mark, be in the chat to have a look at the back yourselves. We have a qualifying match ready for us. As you can see here, we have the upper bracket qualifying match. Pappy takes down Angry 2-0, and we have Pappy versus Trifax in a best of 5. I am torn. I want them both to make it through. I want them both to excel, but there's only enough room for one, at least in the upper bracket. As you can see down here, it's a little bit off screen, but there is a lower bracket. There is a lower bracket available as well. Bear that in mind.